Hi, I'm Chantel Kiana and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be sharing some self-care tips that I personally use on a daily basis to help me get through my current grieving season and anytime I'm kind of feeling down or overwhelmed with life. So I hope that these tips are very helpful for you, and I hope that you remember that consistency is key. So even when applying these tips, things are not going to change overnight. You just have to keep working at it and keep working at it. But let's get started. Here are some self-care tips for the mind, body, and soul. So, tip number 1 is stop overthinking. You don't need to have the answers to life's riddles. I think sometimes we want to have a solution for every problem and be able to help everyone in our lives that are going through something, which causes us to overthink. And I personally overthink about a lot, whether it's professionally or personally, and it's really draining and time consuming and overwhelming. And so I try to just remember that I just have to focus on one task at hand that's in front of me and focus my energy on that. But sometimes throughout the day I do find my mind drifting and overthinking about other things, and so I take a little bit of break from work. Sometimes I talk to God, I will pray, and I will just kind of take a moment to myself. So remember, don't overthink, and I know it's easier said than done, but just keep in mind that you don't have to have the answers to life's problems. Tip 2 is accept what is, stop pushing. Sometimes you have to accept things as they are, the things you can't change, and give yourself a break. I think this is a really important tip to remember when trying to take care of yourself, is that sometimes we want to change situations or change people or change their attitudes or thoughts about something, and we can't do that. We have to just learn to let go and to let God. I personally have struggled with that over the last couple years, is not trying to push certain situations to work or to fit, because something may not be working out right now for you, but that doesn't mean that it won't work out later. And if you have to keep forcing something and pushing something, the majority of the time it's not right for you and it probably won't work out anyway. So remember to just let go and to let God. Okay, so tip 3. Stop comparing yourself to others. Comparing yourself to others with envy robs you of appreciation for the sacred place your life is at any given moment. I think this tip is really hard to do in today's time. We live in the social media, digital world era where everyone has, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media app you can think of, the majority of people have it. And I think it's quite simple as you're scrolling on your timelines to feel maybe inadequate when you see people going on trips, or they were able to purchase this home or this car, or they have a particular job opportunity that you wish you had. And so it's like a negative thing to look on your timeline all the time and feel envious of someone else's life. And another tip I want to mention too is that it's on social media, so the majority of the time things are photoshopped or it's not real. So you're getting yourself all worked up and robbing yourself of the place that you're in your life that God has placed you in for something that can be completely fake. Now, what I will say about this is that I personally think that if you get inspiration from scrolling your timeline, from seeing someone being able to travel or being able to purchase a home or some object, if it inspires you to want to work hard yourself, to do better and to be better and to get those things for your own self, but it comes from a positive place, not an envious place, I think that's perfectly fine. I'm inspired by a lot of people that I follow on social media. So I don't think it's not a comparing thing. You're just encouraged and inspired to maybe do those things for yourself that maybe you were too afraid to do to begin with. But now that you're seeing someone else has achieved it, you feel like you can too. And going back to the negative aspect of comparing yourself to people, the best advice I could give you is just to unfollow them. Unfollow and unfriend. unfortunately, we spend the majority of our times, I think, on our phones and on social media. So if you're constantly seeing that you're comparing yourself from a very negative or envious place, the best thing to do would be to get rid of it altogether, which is just to unfollow and unfriend. So, tip 4. Cherish true friends. Surround yourself with true friends. Friends who've been with you at your worst and love you even more for it. Friends who selflessly love you without any agenda. As I've gotten older, I've realized it's a lot harder, I would say, to make friends as an adult opposed to when you're a child and you're in school, especially for me personally because I work from home, so I don't work with anyone except for editors, but we're not really friends. So I would say that if you have 1 to 3 friends in your life that has really been there with you through the ups and the downs, the good and the bad, hold on to them and keep them, because life is short and you never know how long someone will be in your life. So take that time out to send them a text or to call them or to hang out, go for a drink, go for coffee. But make sure that if they're your true friends, that they feel important and a part of your life. And it's always a good time to get out the house and spend some good time with good friends. Moving on to tip 5. Exercise regularly. Regular exercise can transform your life. Make time for exercise. This is a huge one, and I do this Monday through Friday in the mornings. I work out before work, and it really helps me. Aside from, of course, getting fit and, of course, looking good in your clothes and all that, it really helps me get clarity in the morning. It really calms my anxiety that I have in the morning, and it kind of gets me out of my own head. I play my music and I just work out. And even on those days when I wake up and I'm not in the mood for it, I still push myself to do it because I know that once I'm done, the end result is I'm going to feel so much better and I'm going to be so glad that I actually did it. So whether you can work out in the mornings or in the evenings, and maybe you can't work out Monday through Friday, maybe work out 3 times a week. But whatever your schedule allows, make time for exercise. You won't regret it. Okay, moving right along to tip 6. Now this is a big one. So it's forgive yourself, forgive others. Forgiveness is one of your most powerful allies. Forgive the people in your life who harmed you and forgive yourself for your own mistakes. And you will liberate yourself from pain, anger, resentment, and negativity. Anger, grudges, and resentment hurt no one more than the person holding them. I'm going to let that sink in for a minute because I know it's a hard one. It's hard to forgive people who you love and have trusted, and whether they're your friends or your family and they've been in your life, and you feel betrayed by them, or they've done something so tragic to you that you feel like you cannot forgive them. It's a really hard thing to do. So I would say you have to take your time with this, but you have to get through it and you have to do it. Because like I said, when we're holding on to anger or bitterness, resentment, meanness, that affects us, not the person that we're upset with. They probably don't even know that you're mad or could care less. So it's why we're struggling and having all of this negative vibes in us and all of this stuff. They're over here living their best life, not even worried about you, the one who's actually going through this difficult time. And also, I know it can be a very hard thing to forgive yourself if you feel like you've harmed yourself or done wrong to yourself or to other people. But you have to pray about this, you have to talk it out, and you have to get through this. One tip I have is obviously praying and journaling. And if you want to write letters to yourself or to the person you're upset with, I suggest that as well, because you get to get all your thoughts and all your feelings out. And you don't have to send it or mail it or anything, because remember, forgiveness is for you, not the other person. So remember this tip: forgive yourself and forgive others. Moving right along to tip 7, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. Sometimes you'll get down, sometimes you'll get hurt, and you won't want to get out of bed. Don't resist your feelings, embrace them. this one really like gets me at the heart, because since I've been in my grieving season, which I have spoken briefly about in previous videos as well as blog posts, but I will be doing, a side note, a whole video on my grieving experience and my grieving story, as well as tips to help those who are in a grieving season as well. But I sometimes don't want to go to work. You know, I work from home and sometimes I'm like, I can't do it. Sometimes I don't want to be around anyone. I don't want to talk to anyone. Some days it's just really hard and really, really sad for me personally. And so I used to just push myself, and I used to cover my feelings, and I used to, you know, put on a face so that I looked fine to everyone and no one really knew, you know, what was going on with me. And I did that for a long time, for the majority of my grieving season, which coming up will be 4 years this month. And so it became really, really difficult just navigating everyday life when you're pretending you're okay, but you're really not. And so I had to just be like, you know what, I'm human and I'm sad and I'm devastated by the loss of my father. So there are some days now I just stay in bed, I cry sometimes, I watch my favorite show, Sex and the City. So whatever you need to do, sometimes you might need to take a day or two to just kind of be in your feelings and in your thoughts. But don't stay there, because you don't want to stay down and you don't want to stay depressed, but you have to accept your feelings for what they are, and just know you're going to keep going. You're going to get through this. You're going to keep pushing, but it's going to be step by step and day by day. You can't rush this. So allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, whatever those emotions are and why you have them. Let yourself feel them and release them. But then know, tomorrow it's a new day. You're going to get back up. You're going to go to work. You're going to slay your day. So just keep in mind, no matter what season you're in your life, allow yourself to feel what you are feeling. Tip 8, which is another one that I do on a daily basis throughout my day, which is breathe deeply. Take long, deep breaths way down into your diaphragm. Several deep breaths can relieve anxiety, cleanse your energy, and ease any overwhelming feelings you may be having. Like I said, when I'm sitting at my desk and on my computer working, I literally take a million breaks to breathe deeply, because life is hard sometimes and it throws you curveballs throughout your day. And sometimes I just feel overwhelmed. And so taking deep breaths really releases my anxiety as well as my overwhelming thoughts. Now, I would recommend, for those who do not work at home, if you work in an office, if you can take a couple minutes at your desk to take a couple deep breaths, or go to the restroom, or even better, go outside for some fresh air, or in your car. But take maybe just 5 minutes, maybe don't even need 5 minutes, but just take a couple long, hard, deep breaths to release all of your negative thoughts, your anxiety, all of your feelings that kind of have you going crazy. It really helps to release them. So these were 8 tips that I hope were very helpful for you, because I use them, like I said, on a daily basis. I hope these tips were helpful. Remember, you only get one life, so please take care of yourself and be good to yourself. I really want you guys to live your best life and to be healthy and happy and okay in your lives. So I hope by doing these helpful tips, lifestyle videos, you guys are going to be able to live better lives, and not only live your life better, but also be able to pass this on and to help someone else. If you have any additional self-care tips, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to check them out and use some new ones. And also, be sure to visit my website, chantelkiana.com. And until next time, stay blessed.